It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 2023 New Year's edition of The Local Show, heading right into 2024. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. The Local Show features conversations about local businesses. We talk to the business owners, the CEOs and CFOs, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, business advocates, and other business-friendly organizations. They're all around town now. We're going to learn how they got into business and why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York, where their businesses might be going in the future. You're going to hear all about their successes, challenges, opportunities, marketing, and advertising, broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. Welcome to a new year almost.
Isn't this the time of year where we say there's going to be a big announcement? And people always say there's going to be a stay tuned. I don't know. There's no big announcement.
No,
I'm unaware.
I don't know.
We should go. Let's go down the hall here at Zoey Studios and ask any of the team. Is there anything we should announce? I don't know.
No, we're another year
Tom,
older.
You're wasting away to nothing. I hardly recognized you when you walked in. So you lost like 5% of your body weight. You lost like 50 pounds.
Dr. Barry gave me some good advice. He said, lose weight or die. So
Well,
I was like, oh, okay, well, let's see options.
He told you that. He told you that before, and you didn't do it.
He didn't say. He never said that, folks. I'm just teasing.
He implied it.
He's much kinder than that. But no, I've just been trying different things and different ways of eating. So the way that I've done it now is to not eat.
There we go.
Yeah.
Is it one of those goofy only blue food diets, or some of those goofy things, or are you able to have stuff you enjoy?
I'm using the Gandhi diet. Yes.
Hang on, there's a pun there, right? What's Gandhi? What's the Gandhi diet?
He was on a hunger strike for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
No. Just proteins and meats and things like that. All the stuff the woke people don't do.
Well, you're looking good, Tom.
Well, thanks. I'm trying. We got a great show all racked up for everybody, so stick around. Natasha Schmidt's going to be here. She's the co-owner of Rubberstone, New York. Mike Intaglietta, the executive director of the Landmark Theater, will stop by. Attorney John Murphy, owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. Charlie Van Patten, owner of the Mattress Makers. He'll stop by. George Powers will give us a little tax advice here, owner of Powers Accounting. Ruth Ann Raposa is the executive director of Elmcrest Children's Center, and she'll tell us all about that organization. Brian Dumond is the president of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. He'll stop by for a conversation, and then Lynn High wraps us up. She's the chief development officer at the Food Bank of Central New York at foodbankcny.org. So all of that on the Local Show today. We encourage you to stick around. Natasha, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Good. You guys aren't doing much outside at this point, are you?
No, not much outside. Lots inside, though. There's lots to do inside.
Good. Well, I want you to tell us about that. And first, give people a little background on what the company is.
Well, if you're tuning in for the first time.
Well,
we should have a bingo card for her too.
Trust me, we don't get a lot of return people. So
the word substrate, all kinds of words.
Yeah, next time.
Natasha, go ahead.
Yeah, next time. Next time we'll do my own bingo card. Yeah. Rubberstone has been in Central New York for a little over 10 years now. We started in 2013. Wow. Yeah. So we've been covering ugly concrete, asphalt, wood, and paving stones with our durable, decorative, safe surface rubber stone. Mm-hmm. This time of year, we're doing interiors. So we're doing like entryways and basements.
Right.
We also do some commercial work, office spaces, and we primarily do that with our Sierra stone. So a little bit different of a product. 100% natural river rock, 2-part epoxy system, hand troweled. Most jobs are done in one day. The nice thing about something like Sierra stone or even rubber stone in a basement, a lot of people don't want to take all of their stuff out.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of a real
it's a pain. Yeah.
It's a real pain.
We actually just have to clean up in the basement, and I'm dreading it. I have anxiety about it already.
Yeah. I mean, it's where we keep all of our
everything.
Stuffs.
Life.
Yeah, it's where we keep not just our stuffs, but our kids' stuffs.
Yes,
and,
you
know, that brother-in-law twice removed. And so, you know, with this flooring system, because it's poured in place and hand troweled, you put all your stuff to one side, we install the floor. 72 hours later, move it to the other side, install the rest of the floor.
Gotcha.
We'll pick a natural termination point for the eye so it doesn't look like a hard
A
seam.
natural termination point.
Yeah.
Is that what happens when you get old and you die? What's a natural termination point?
That's between you and God.
Explain that to me. I don't know. It sounded.
So if we have to pick somewhere to stop, we're going to, use a beam or a wall, something so it's not so noticeable.
Natural termination point.
Yeah, natural termination point.
Very nice.
And then we'll install the rest of the floor. So within a week's time, you don't have to remove all of your stuff, but you do have a nice new floor, 20-year warranty, lifetime expectancy, and we should never have to really see you again after that. But it doesn't damage under water exposure. So if something happens in the basement with all this rain, let's say your sump pump, is overworked or your electricity goes out, something crazy like that, the floor, it doesn't get destroyed because of water exposure. You shot back out the loose water, dehumidifier.
You're in good shape.
You're in good shape.
Or you might have animals like I do, and the dogs go down there and leave you a little treat.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Right.
Here's a couple of Yule logs.
Yeah.
So wait. They think about it. They go downstairs. They do their duty, and they come back upstairs.
Yeah.
My dogs do the same thing, and I have rubber stone
What?
in my basement.
Wait a minute.
I don't know what
is wrong with your dogs. Really?
Well, and I let them out 5 times a day.
Right.
You know, it's like crazy.
Doggy door or not.
Maybe you should let them out 6 times a day, Tom.
God bless it. It's
but
crazy.
it's easy cleanup. You clean up the loose materials on the top, and then you could run something like a steam vac over it. We keep a carpet cleaner downstairs.
So you can use carpet cleaner.
Oh yeah. It's the easiest way to clean it. Just run a carpet cleaner over any type of.
That's kind of cool.
Tell
me about the foyer. Do you get a lot of call for that? Like people wanting their foyers done? Because it's a beautiful covering. I just haven't seen it a lot.
Yeah. So typically people are like redesigning their mudroom. They're renovating parts of their house. We'll just come in and don't get too excited.
Steve's knocking the microphones and everything.
It got in the way.
Yeah. So it's part of like a remodel package.
Yes.
If you're going to be doing a remodel in the mudroom or the entry points of your home, this is really great because it doesn't pop or chip like tile. You don't have to worry about dirty grout lines.
Yeah, the grout lines are tough.
Yeah.
I'm noticing that in our downstairs bathroom.
Yeah.
I went with all ceramic tiles, and now my wife's like, is this grout dirty? Can you get down on your hands and knees and clean the grout? I'm like, honey, you wanted that. Now I got to clean it all.
Actually say get on your hands and knees.
With a toothbrush.
Yeah, she did.
Wow.
She thinks that since I'm a guy that I'm missing the toilet somehow.
Right.
And I said, I may be old and feeble, but I'm still hitting the mark, I think.
That would be the teenage kid.
Yeah, right.
Likely.
That's what I said.
Could be the girls. You never know.
So anyway, so you're going to be in the home show just really quickly?
We are going to be in the home show.
That's in the
yeah.
spring. Yeah,
Yep.
in March. Okay, good.
And people can get basements done in the winter, right?
Yeah, there's no wrong time to get a basement done.
Okay, watch out for that microphone.
Phone number. Get a phone number then.
A phone number. You have a phone number?
I do have a phone
How do we
number.
get a hold of it?
Is it 463-5916?
You got it.
All right, write that down on your refrigerator, Sharpie, so you don't lose it. 463-5916, rubberstonenewyork.com.
Got it.
Tom.
Sounds good. You have a great new year.
You do the same. Thank you.
All right. I got to get out of here before my cephalopod friend over there. It's the Mike again.
Mike got in the way.
Mike Intaglietta is coming up next, Executive Director of the Landmark Theater on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back at it again, and we're so happy that you're with us as we march on to 2024. It's The Local Show with Tom and Steve.
Tom.
Right here on 570.
Tom. Did you say you're happy?
I don't know.
You said we're so happy. It's not.
Well, I said we're so happy.
Oh, so really? Yeah. I'm 98%.
10% me.
Got it. Okay. I was just checking because you said we're so happy, and you and happy usually don't run in the same channel. So I just was checking.
Not at all. I've modeled my life after Eeyore from the Winnie the Pooh. Well, he's cute and cuddly.
Wait a minute.
It's our pleasure to introduce Mike Intaglietta again. He's the executive director of the Landmark Theater right here in Syracuse, spelled TRE, so it's very theatre.
The old-fashioned way.
The old-fashioned way. How are you there, Mike?
I'm well, thank you so much.
Have you had a fun season? Has it been nice all the way up till now?
It was. I'll tell you, it was as busy a season as we've had.
Yeah.
And, we had December 15th just circled on our calendar from sometime in mid-October. That was the last event that we had in the fall. And but we're resting up now and getting ready for a nice winter and spring.
So highlight wise, what sticks out in your mind over the past season that's been like a banner thing?
Hotspot. We had a few. We opened up the season with Mean Girls. They teched and then they did 6 wonderful shows, really well received. And of course, we had Disney's Aladdin, which did 8 shows, and that show alone attracted over 18,000 people to downtown Syracuse. We were happy to have Jerry Seinfeld here. We were happy to have Lindsey Sterling. These are really high profile shows, so it really made for a really dense fall.
What?
So, each time that you have one of these shows or an event, you have concessions, right?
Sure, yeah.
What's your favorite concession food there at the Landmark?
That's a real question. You're talking food.
That's a real question.
I'll tell you something. We're not so much on the food. We're heavy on the drinks, which is fine by me.
Yes, because the margins are higher.
Yeah, it's not nothing. That's not nothing. But our bar staff does a great job of putting together specials for the shows that we have. So we had when we did the screening of Elf, they put together a drink called the Son of a Nutcracker.
Beautiful. I love it.
Which was really well received. And we sold so much hot chocolate that our hot water heater couldn't keep up.
No way.
It was pretty fantastic.
That's cool, man.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why do organizations choose the Landmark? They could go to one of the casinos. They could go to the War Memorial. They could go to the Civic Center. Why is the Landmark attractive for certain shows that come through?
Yeah. There's some shows that are always geared towards theaters like ours and maybe aren't so well suited to a casino. And we love those. We have 2,700 seats. And of course, there's people that appreciate the decor of the place. We'll often have artists come out and just take a quick tour around the lobbies just to take a look at them. The other thing that this is something that's kind of underappreciated. If you've been to the Landmark, you'll know that our balcony extends all the way down to row J. So if you're in the first row of the balcony, or what we call the loge, you're essentially in the 9th or 10th row.
Right, I see,
on the first floor. Mm-hmm. From the artist's perspective, you're playing to a very full room. If you're in a traditional theater where instead of having that long balcony, you have the mezzanine and the balcony up against the back wall.
Right.
You're just playing to the people on the floor, and the people on the balcony and the mezz are just a distant, view. But
Gotcha.
You have the intimacy of having 2 first rows. So bands and comedians especially really, really appreciate having that kind of feedback from 2 different levels.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
When you get a huge star like a Jerry Seinfeld that comes through,
sure.
Does he socialize a little bit with people, or does he just come in and keep everybody away from him and then split afterwards?
No, they're all friendly. Jerry's Mr. Seinfeld.
Did you feel that?
You
Jerry,
call him Jerry.
But for everyone, all of their folders are just first names, right? But then when they're in the building, it's
Mr. Seinfeld, yeah.
Always very friendly, very cordial.
Good.
But especially the comedians in general, because they don't have huge productions, right?
Yeah,
a few lights, some sound. They tend to arrive very shortly before their set begins.
Okay,
usually leave.
Are any of them like Miles Finch? I want the room at this temperature with this food. Are any of them like specifically? I need these grapes at this level. Any of that kind of stuff?
Well, the thing is, the people that we're getting, they're professionals, and for us, it's a major event that it's a once every year, every 2 or 3 years that we get to host an event like that. But for them, it's 2 or 3 times a week.
Absolutely,
that they're doing it. So they want to make sure that the things are appropriate, and also they don't know the caliber of the room that they're going into, right? They don't know the professionalism of the staff. So having things like
this really happens, right?
The right brands and all
that
makes sense. Are you reading what I'm sending you? Like, am I going to be safe? If obviously we're a theater and there's safety issues are somewhat limited, but you don't know if you're walking into a place where they just built the stage for you.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
You need to make sure that people are paying attention to those little details.
Interesting. I saw Sam Kinison there.
Oh, yeah.
No way!
Yeah, I must have been 19 years old.
Really?
Yeah. Sam Kinison when he was alive.
Was he funny?
Rest in peace.
Well, as opposed to when he wasn't alive, just to clarify.
He was on his way up at that point, and I remember being a little shocked. And saying, "Wow, this guy's out of his mind," But that was my take on it. Then it wasn't as pleasant as seeing like a Jerry Seinfeld that was very cerebral. You know what I mean?
Right.
So anyway.
Some people just call him Jerry Tom.
Yes. Jerry. So heading into the spring here, are there things that happen in the winter?
So we're going to start off in the 3rd week of January.
Okay.
We'll have the Harry Potter concert where we screen the film, and Symphoria will be performing the music. That's a really great experience. It's obviously such a memorable score.
Which one?
We're starting right off with Sorcerer's Stone, the first.
Oh, so do you go through all of them, or
if we can, we certainly will.
That's a lot.
So we'll be there for 8 years.
Yeah, right. Good golly! And then in the spring, any big concerts?
Let's see. We've got. I think the biggest concert we have on the menu is Styx. Will be with us in March.
Wait, Styx
is
in a theater with 2,700 people, where the sound is right. This is no offense to the amphitheater or anything, but this is dialed in.
Yeah, that's the other thing that we can do that like the amphitheater can't. Right?
Wow!
Really have that controlled environment.
Yeah, that'll be
that is cool. So when people see the place for the first time, am I the only one that goes, "Wow"? I've been in there so many times, and I just look up and I'm like, it's just kind of a wow, isn't it?
No, it gets a lot of attention. I remember when we had Phantom of the Opera, the person who was playing the Phantom, who was a relatively well-known actor, just
you can't remember his name. Go ahead.
Listen, that was 7 years ago, right? But wandering the halls, we were the last stop of his tour, the second to last stop, and he was wandering the halls singing music of the night.
That's neat.
But he just couldn't get enough of it. So
it's a stunning experience. Experience.
So if you want to have an event there, you can call up the theater. Let's see. Do we have the right number there? 432-4420.
Yeah, that's my direct line. So
wonderful.
Well, right to the source at 432-2240, the Landmark Theater, and there's an E on the end of that, theater.org.
Mike Intagliata right there. He's the executive director of the Landmark Theater. And, I really dig the fact that you come in and you're a down-to-earth person and you give us all this information. Thanks for being accessible.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with attorney John Murphy, owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts, right here on the local show on 570 WSYR. Stick around.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Floating back into the new year with Tom and Steve. 2024 just around the corner. That makes Steve 132 years old this year.
Very nice. Mark. Floating. Tom, do you know anybody that's done those float tanks? You heard about that?
Yeah, no.
They go in the water and they float. And it's like
gravity deprivation.
I don't know. It takes all their woes and sorrows away, and they pay, I don't know, $100 an hour to go into the water and float.
Yeah.
And it's a
deprivation
thing all the cool
tank,
kids are doing, and all the people that don't know what to do with $100.
I'm deprived on the count of I'm depraved, so I don't need one of those tanks.
Yeah. So if you're in the float business, prove me wrong and reach out to the show. Or if you have a business, reach out to the show. You can fire me an email if you want, Steve, ZoeyAdvertising.com. It's a new year. We love interacting, introducing. What am I looking for there, Tom? Meeting new people.
You have
introducing ourselves to new people. Thank you, Tom.
You have me in fire. I was thinking, I'd like to fire him. All right.
Some people call that harassment, Steve.
Well, I've only knocked the mic down once this show already.
Very good. You're a plethora of fun. Attorney John Murphy's here, owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. How are you there, Attorney John Murphy?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to what 2024 has to bring.
Yeah. Anything new that you have to do? Like is it continuing education for you to see if there's new rules for wills, trusts, estate planning?
Yeah, we have to do 24 hours of continuing ed every 2 years. So, plus there's other things you get, journal articles and things that you read on just to keep up. Yeah, that's a lot of my job right now is, keeping up and making sure that any new changes and things get folded into our product.
Yeah, don't you actually teach some of those too?
I do. I used to teach it when it was live, and now it's all kind of gone to recorded stuff. Okay. So not too many live ones anymore. Okay. But I've done that before. Educated attorneys and actually CPAs and financial planners on some law. I've been invited to write and present on those items.
As an attorney, you really, from undergrad to graduate school and then law school, you have to love to read. Gosh, it doesn't stop for you guys. You just constantly have to take in knowledge.
Yeah, and it's funny, as I get older, I find myself I'm a much better auditory learner than I am. So I like to listen.
So a lot of those things now are on, audio, in audio format.
Yeah, they're videos, so I can download my stuff and, learn what I want to learn. Instead, it was kind of like, well, what's coming to town?
Yeah.
So you want to get that. I would maybe go to Albany, or when I started this, and my venture where I met this guy, right?
Yes.
I would go to, I went to Chicago for an event, went to Las Vegas for a couple.
We met in Chicago.
Yeah.
And we're both from Syracuse. How's that?
That's funny.
So, it's great keeping up and learning the new stuff, and things are really changing. And, the big thing now is how is AI going to impact things? We like to say that at our office, you'll deal with human intelligence.
Yeah.
Because AI can't ask the questions. It can only answer what the questions you ask.
Sure.
And if you don't know the questions to ask, you're not going to get the right answers.
Steve is the original artificial intelligence.
I was waiting. I knew that was going to happen, so I just waited for it.
I think it's giving too much credit.
Right. I was just hanging out waiting.
You might be right on that,
Letting it happen. And you guys, you let me down. No, you didn't. Thank you.
How is AI going to impact you? I don't understand how it would affect you.
Well, there's already, I think it's a federal court case where some attorneys had drafted some papers for the court. I think it was a summons and complaint or whatever it was that got to the court, and it was riddled with mistakes because they just put the issue into AI and printed out what they said.
From there, yeah.
And the judge had a local rule like no attorneys can use AI in my in my courtroom because it doesn't answer the questions. I put in some stuff about trust, irrevocable trust, and Medicaid, and it was wrong. It was wrong because it took the traditional irrevocable trust, which people have used for a long time to protect assets from or protect their estate from estate taxes.
Yeah.
And that's a very, very different trust than what we use to protect assets from long-term care. And a lot of people make that mistake, including attorneys, including financial planners. So they think an irrevocable trust is one thing. I always liken it to a car or a vehicle, right? Oh, I have a new car. That absolutely tells me nothing.
Yeah, right.
What kind of car? What do you use it for? What's your purpose? How do you want to accomplish? Blah, blah, blah. The wrapper might be the same car, right? But it's very, very different on the inside.
Yeah, it's very surface. It's a lot like you, Steve. It really is. It just kind of scratches the surface. It doesn't get too deep.
When should they start the process? So I've always heard, before we met, John, I always thought, well, trusts are for, Thurston Howell III has a trust for the fourth generation. But if you've got a Cape Cod in North Syracuse that's worth $180,000 and a little bit of money in the bank, how do you help that person?
Well, I think there's really a number of reasons why you want a trust, but in our world, what we deal with primarily are people just simply want to keep their family from having to go through the probate process, which is court, And one of the big misnomers in our area is if I have a will, my kids won't have to go through probate. No, a will requires them to go through probate. Probate is actually Latin for prove the will. Where do you prove the will? You prove it in surrogate court. So a revocable trust or any trust that owns your house will keep that house out of probate. And it can own other things, bank accounts, brokerage accounts, stocks, bonds, life insurance, automobiles, your furniture, all those types of things. With a revocable trust, you can still do everything you do with it now. Just when you pass away, it makes it nice and easy for your family. There's no court involved. We like to say you settle it in the conference room, not in the courtroom.
What if mom gets sick and goes into long-term care?
That generally won't protect your assets. So if you want to do asset protection from long-term care costs, you'll need a irrevocable asset protection trust. And a lot of people get scared by that term irrevocable.
Yeah, it's like a scary word. Like, oh my gosh.
It sounds like my marriage. It's irrevocable.
Well, number one doesn't say not amendable, right?
Yeah.
So you can amend it if it's drafted properly through a device called a limited power of appointment. That's the I can change my mind clause. Okay. And in New York State, you may revoke an irrevocable trust. Okay. As long as you have the consent of the people who are ultimately going to get assets when you're gone, usually the children. So as long as the kids say, yes, I agree that you can revoke it, you can revoke it. And you might say, John, what if one of my kids doesn't agree? And I would say, remember that part where I said you can change things?
Right.
You just remove them as a beneficiary and you no longer need their consent. That's the don't mess with me clause. Okay?
Yeah.
So this keeps people, what I think I hear you saying is people can stay in control. It isn't like I signed this thing and it's over.
Right. So a lot of people say you can't be the trustee of your irrevocable trust. Yes, you can. If it's for the purpose of asset protection, okay, and avoiding Medicaid costs. If it's to avoid estate taxes, you can't be the trustee. But in our world, you can be the trustee.
Okay. So 370-9977, John Murphy. The case managers answer questions. Eventually, you can talk to the big guy here or talk to the big guy if you want. 370-9977. John Murphy from Safe Harbor Wills and Trust. Happy New Year, Mr. Murphy.
Happy New Year to everybody, and looking forward to what 2024 brings.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right, coming up next, we're going to talk with Charlie Van Patten. He is Mr. Sleep Miser, owner of Mattress Makers right here on the local show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Into the great unknown with Tom and Steve. It's all about stuff that has to do with business, local businesses, Micron coming in, supporting businesses for Micron, and then all the little businesses that are already here that might be expanding and thinking, maybe they thought, we're going to go out of business, but now with this whole Micron thing and the expansion of things like the aquarium coming in, they feel that there's going to be more commerce. Maybe they'll stick around and make more business.
Yeah, is it going to make the weather any warmer, Tom?
It won't. No,
is it going to lower the taxes?
And this is what I say to everybody about.
I don't mean
weather.
to be that guy, but
you bring up a good point, and some of these millennials, one of them, like my daughter, who's 25, she goes down to do that Disney thing, and within the first few weeks, she's calling up complaining and saying, it's hot down here. Well, you don't like the winter. Now you don't like the heat. And that my point is that it doesn't matter where you are. You make your own destiny.
That is
you do your own.
That is prophetic, and really, it's accurate because what they say, folks that have struggled with addictions. And we'll say, you know what? If I move to Greenville,
Sure.
it'll be better there. The problem is when they get to Greenville, they're still there. It's a matter of the heart, right? It's a matter of the heart. It is a matter of, so they call that a geographical. That's actually that's what it's called.
It is a
People
term,
they have that. Yeah. It's got to be better there. The problem is when you get there, you're there.
There was a guy that I really looked up to in my younger years who said it best. And he said, if I can make it there, I can make it anywhere. New York, New York.
There you go.
And that was old Blue Eyes who said that.
I was hoping you were going to quote Rush, but you let me down.
I went in the Wayback Machine. Okay, Charlie Van Patten's here. Speaking of Wayback, owner of Mattress Makers.
That wasn't very nice, Tom.
Well,
that was not Tom.
That just proves that he has wisdom.
So,
absolutely, been around for a long time.
Good morning, gentlemen.
How are you, Charlie?
Good.
Did you have a nice Christmas holiday?
Oh, fantastic. Kids were all home. That's all you can ask for.
How many grandchildren do you have? Do you have lots?
Yeah, I got 5, 6.
A bunch.
Okay,
Six. Don't ask trick questions. Poor guy. He's like, 5, 6, 6, 5.
Yeah.
So how long have you been involved with Mattress Makers? How many years has it been?
Oh, over 50 years.
Yeah,
my family's been doing it since 1915.
Incredible. And trend-wise, what do you see when the weather gets colder? Is there a certain trend to mattress buying? Do people buy more in the winter? Or?
Oh, absolutely. As I mentioned one other time, that's why we're in the mattress business, because December people don't buy mattresses. They got the house all closed up. They've got Christmas.
Oh, so they don't buy more mattresses?
Not in December, no.
Not in December. When does it start to pick up then?
It starts a bit May, Better Sleep Month.
Oh, okay.
President's Day. There was a joke on TV that, they want to rename. President's Day is known as Mattress Sale Day.
Is it really? I didn't know that.
They want to rename it as President's Day.
Isn't that incredible? I never knew that. Yeah. Well, of course, I haven't been in the mattress business much.
Some comedian was saying that on TV. But today I thought maybe I'd give you guys some ideas. People out there, when they go to buy a mattress, it's a minefield because it's difficult. I mean, you want to get educated. You want to get a brand you can trust.
Right.
And there's so much going in your way. For example, ironically, I don't know, I say December they don't buy mattresses, but for some reason, we've had a lot of shoppers come in and give us their stories. This one customer came in and said, the goddamn salesman followed me right out to my car.
Wow.
These are all legitimate. These people came in December. Another customer came in. I'm looking for a latex mattress. I went to 7 stores, and I couldn't find anything. I found you on the internet, and here I am. But you know what? He says, every one of those stores was terrible experience. Pressure. All they want to do is sell me the mattress. They didn't care what I got. They didn't care how I got it. Just sell me the mattress. It's just unreal what goes on out there.
Now you hear the commercials, and then you hear more commercials. And
it's almost like carnival barkers,
Yeah.
It really is.
I mean, this one advertises they got low prices.
Right.
And this customer came in December. He went to that store, walked around, walked out, came in our store and said, I went to this store. They said they had low prices. I said, I walked in, I walked out. The prices, I could buy a used car cheaper than what they had for prices on those mattresses. It's just, it's crazy.
And aside from prices, there's a lot of other great things that go into a Mattress Maker's mattress that make it worth buying. So material-wise, is it apples to apples compared to one of the big name brands?
Well, we all go to the same well. We all source the same materials. It's a question of selection. Mm-hmm. I mentioned one time before that I changed quilting foam suppliers. And I said, okay, let's make it easy. You're selling all these brand names that I shouldn't mention, but I could.
Yeah. Right. All the names people know.
Thank you.
Keep them guessing.
And I said, what do you stock? What do you make for those guys that you have ready? Because they use a ton of it. Yeah. And they gave me, it was all cheap foam. I said, wait a minute. This is all cheap foam. He says, yeah, they're getting pressured price-wise, and they're lowering the quality of what they're buying. So I have to order ahead because I want the better quality, which they don't buy anymore.
What would you say to someone that said, I want a national brand? They make them here in Syracuse, and maybe it costs less, but I want something that rhymes with wheelie, or I want something that something like that. How do you counter that when someone's branded in their head, right? Tom, they think, this one's better.
Yeah. Well, when you come to us, you get educated. You don't get educated in a store. Salesmen sell what they want to get the biggest commission on. And they'll tell you that. It's just a fact of life. Right. They're going to show you what they make the most money on. When you come to us, you can touch and feel. You can learn, because I can destroy any mattress out there in terms of what they say it
Tom.
is.
All he's got to do is lay on it.
Yeah, right. In terms of what they say it is and what it really is. I mean, look at these people buying them on the internet. Do you know there's 175 mattresses sold on the internet? And every one of those, you can find a recommendation that every one of those 175 is the best mattress, and it's got this special feature.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You talk about national brands. You know, we are a national brand because we ship all over the United States. We ship to Texas. Then December, we ship to Texas, Arizona, Washington State, Maine, Hamptons, New Jersey. Also in December, we shipped 140 mattresses to Disney resorts. We shipped 35 to the local men's shelter. In January, we're going to ship 40 sets to the rehab center in Syracuse.
Wow.
We're a national brand.
All right. So if you're a hotel or a national brand or a shelter or whatever, you can buy direct from Charlie, but so can you and I, Tom.
Yeah.
The factory, walk in on Bridge Street, across from Fleet Feet and behind Henry Wilson Jones. You walk in and there's the machinery and there's the
custom
stuff. And when you buy a mattress, you won't get a free snowmobile or barbecue grill. You buy what's there. And but thank you, Charlie, for Mattress Makers. And don't forget, there's one across from Chick-fil-A in North Syracuse, but the manufacturer right there on Bridge Street. Right, Tom?
There you go. That's right. Thank you, Charlie, and Happy New Year. All right, kicking off hour number 2 of the local show, we're going to have a conversation with George Powers, owner of Powers Accounting. Ruth Ann Raposa is the executive director of Elmcrest Children's Center. Brian Dumond, president of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan, will be here. And then we'll round things out with Lynn High. She's the chief development officer at the Food Bank of Central New York. So you stick around. Hour number 2 of the local show starts really soon.
It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is hour number 2 of the local show. Get ready for engaging interviews with George Powers, owner of Powers Accounting, Ruth Ann Raposa, executive director of Elmcrest Children's Center, Brian Dumond, the president of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan, and then Lynn High is the chief development officer at the Food Bank of Central New York. George Powers is with us right now. George, you are the tax man. How are you, buddy?
We need a song for that.
Tax man. Yeah.
What was that song actually about? I don't know.
I'm assuming the tax man.
Yeah, right. But I've never really listened to the words, to be honest.
You never listened. I remember hearing the Beatles.
It was the Beatles.
You Are the Walrus.
Yes.
Read back slowly, and it was hilarious. When so they go slowly, so you understand the words.
Cuckoo.
Funny. George has been around for quite some time. He's also a fill-in guest host. Some would argue the better host on the local show. So, George, how long have you been in business doing the accounting thing?
Way too many years. Too many years. I was looking back on some. My mother and sister put together some of old home movies and watching, the old ones.
Yeah, right.
Wow, it's been a long time.
George was using an abacus. He's like sliding the beads.
No, it's been about 30 years.
Goodness gracious. That's good. So you might have learned a thing or two.
Hopefully so.
And you could help people.
Hopefully I haven't forgotten more than I know. But yeah.
Were they putting together old video, like the 8mm? What was that called? That was 8mm.
Yeah, it was 8mm.
Then it upgraded to Super 8.
Yeah.
Super 8, yeah.
Boy, we had so many of those things.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was funny going back and looking at them all. It really was.
In fact, I think some of them even have rust on the tin because it was made out of metal.
Yeah.
The reels.
The reels,
yeah. They converted them all over now to that's on a flash drive.
Yeah,
so it's kind of
wonderful.
interesting. It's kind of cool. But
cool.
Not as exciting about accounting. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of tax, but it's same thing, different day for the most part. The big changes we got coming up is New Year. I think as a whole, what most people need to be thinking about is leadership and management. I mean, accounting's there; it's important, and I'm not diminishing that at all. And tax planning. I mean, at this point in time for 2023, pretty much all tax planning is done.
Yeah.
In taxes, it's almost all over but the tiers at this point in time. You just got to pay the bill and do the paperwork. But I do think that we still have in this, I don't want to say country, in this world, we have a leadership gap in that where we should be and where we are. The old rules of leadership are really,
and you're speaking from like a small business ownership, that type thing.
Because I think most small business owners go into business because they're good at something.
Yes.
They're good at talking to people. They're good at advertising. They're good at running numbers.
Why did you
crunching numbers? And then, so we're good at adding up things and looking and talking to people, things of that nature. But you have to learn to be a leader these days. And it's a lot harder to be a leader. So that's one of the things that we've been moving more towards is leadership training and framework building. Where do you want your business to be in 2 years, in 5 years? You don't just wish it to be so. You actually have to plan it to be so.
No, and you got to have the skills or learn the skills. John Maxwell, one of my favorite leadership gurus, said, if you say you're a leader and no one's following you, you're just taking a walk.
I like that. Yes.
Right? And it's true. Because people says, wait a minute, you got to follow me. I'm the leader. Well, that'll work for about 5 seconds.
Yeah. I think it was Kennedy that said something similar. Every time you're out in front, you need to look over your shoulder once in a while to make sure there's someone behind you.
No,
I hadn't heard that one. That's good
no. It's true. So you're kind of like a necessary evil.
A business coach.
You're like people that get a colonoscopy. They got to do it. It's no fun, but you got to do it anyway. That's your business.
Speaking strictly from the tax part.
I never really thought of myself as a colonoscopy, but okay.
But nobody's like. But nobody's like, hey, I get to go to George and get my taxes done, right?
Yeah, but what we try to do a little differently. Yes, we do. There's a saying out there saying, an accountant is someone who looks out of the back window of your car telling you where to turn. And that's what a lot of accounting is. It's historical. But
you
at the
stole
same
that
time,
quote. You stole
I did
that.
steal that.
It's not original, just to be clear.
I don't know who said originally,
Keep
but
talking.
I steal
ahead.
a lot of quotes.
Yeah.
But but at the same time, we can take that and we can look forward. Where do we want to be with the business in 5 years and 2 years? How do we set up a framework? So each month you have one thing to be working on every single month. So we've been moving more towards that. So we've been factoring in, yes, we need accounting. You need to have that. That's important. And I'm not diminishing that at all. But sometimes that's where things start, not where they end.
Yeah.
What can you do? How do you want to be better? What goals do you have personally? How do you want to reach those goals? What's the business going to do as a tool to help you achieve those goals? And those are the things that we have been working more and more towards. And then at the same time, how do you lead the current group of people? It's not as easy as it used to be.
No, well, it's not easy at all, especially like Steve was saying, when you have a specific skill and then you get into business takes off, and all of a sudden you're not using your skill anymore because you're too busy managing it. And that happened with me with my disc jockey company, actually. When we were full time, I woke up one day after like 4 years into it and said, I hate this.
Yeah.
What did you hate? That's a good point. What did you hate about it, Tom?
Well, I wasn't able to go out and do what I do well.
There you go.
And then I had to sit and babysit listen to me. I had to sit and sit. I sound like my middle daughter. I had to take the time to, manage the events and speak, do the sales portion, but make sure that we had enough business.
Yeah, but wasn't it a challenge because you were trying to reproduce you, and you have a gift, and I'll say you have a gift, you have an ability that most don't have. So you're saying, hey, do it my way, and then you try, and they kind of do it their way, and it falls short, and that
there was that
hurts
too.
a little bit.
Right. And really all I wanted to do was be out there, doing what I do and jumping around and making sets of music and all that, in my case.
Right. And that's a decision that each business owner has to make at some point. No, I want to stay small and I want to control everything and do it my way. And there's not a darn thing in the world wrong with that. Or say, no, I want to grow. And if you're going to grow, you have to systemize, and we have to, how do we reproduce Tom if Tom's not doing it?
Right.
And with the understanding is, they may not be as good as Tom.
And that can be in any business. You could be a plumber, and you could be an excellent master plumber, and then you find yourself sitting behind the desk thinking, I want to be out there fixing the stuff.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm good at. The books, the E-Myth books, and the entrepreneurial myth, just because you can do something doesn't mean you can lead others to do it.
Right.
It's a myth. And
so then what do you do?
Well, one of my mentors taught me, because, I can't do anything, was to hire your weaknesses, and I have lots of them, and be able to trust them in doing the things you can't do, and then you can grow. And that was great advice.
And also you have to constantly keep learning. leadership and management is not something that most people are ever born with. You have to learn. You have to read. You have to listen. If it's books on tape or podcasts or read, whatever it is, you got to learn. Because we generally are not born as leaders on where we want to go.
And I think to sum it all up with your business, Powers Accounting, it's not just accounting, it's this whole concept of where you're training people to be business leaders.
Yeah, we try to help them grow.
Yeah, good.
So if you have a business, George is a conversation. You should have a conversation with George. 701-1120. Write that on the fridge with a Sharpie. 701-1120, gpowers.com. Thanks for being here, George.
Thanks for having me.
Happy New Year, okay?
Happy New Year.
Ruth Ann Raposa is coming up next. She's the executive director of the Elmcrest Children's Center, and she'll be on the local show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
All right, we're back again. Thank you for joining us on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM. You've got The Local Show with Tom and Steve, taking you right up to the new year, 2024. And, this is the time of year that I like to reflect on all of the things that disappoint me about myself. and
Tom, it's only a 2-hour show.
Oh, my goodness.
It's only a 2-hour show. I don't know that...
Tom, it's amazing God has let me go this long.
Well, I'm not going to argue with God, but Tom, and seriously, you started a little health thing here. You've dropped. You've dropped some weight. You're not eating the stuff that's been floating around the office. Seems like you're doing pretty good.
That's the thing about dieting. If I have any advice to give anybody, and I'm not a medical doctor, it's elimination diets are good in that you eliminate all of the crap and then just start from the basics and then start putting things back in slowly.
Isn't it boring to not eat like?
It is boring, in general, of course. But, here's the thing. A lot of the stuff that's out there is just awful. It's just awful what the grocery stores have become, what the FDA has done. And it's all in this whole, standard American diet. And, things back in the 50s, you wouldn't see all these, the stuff that we have in the grocery store now with the high fructose corn syrup, and which was introduced to us, by the way, by the Japanese. That gave us the formula for high fructose corn syrup. Well, then they started using it and everything.
So is that what's MSG? Is that,
and MSG is monosodium glutamate.
It tastes so good in Chinese. It's the magic.
And then you're putting all that in there. So all these things are preservatives, and then of course, the way that we've tried to triple and quadruple crops by putting pesticides on and things. It's just not good. It's not. What do you want to call it?
It's not the way God made. It's not the way God made our body to work. Exactly, is what you're saying.
Right. It's not conspiracy. This is anecdotal. It is real. And so what I say is, the grandmas and grandpas and everybody who's out there with their own garden, all that food is good.
Well, I at the risk of sounding, I don't know what. But I think it's awesome that you're doing it because guys our age, it matters. So,
and I think a lot of people just give up. They say, "Hey, I'm over 50, so you know what? This is the way you're supposed to be."
Well, you were kind of that way a few months ago.
Well, I feel like I want to give up. Yeah.
Well, we're not going to let you because, like it or not, I like you, Tom.
We'll keep him around.
Hey, look, there's somebody else here. Who is it?
It's Ruth
Some kind of queen.
Ruth Ann Raposa is the executive director of Elmcrest Children's Center, and thank you for being here. You look fit. You're always.
You're talking to me?
No, not you at all.
Oh, darn.
She does. Probably does her road work.
I do that gym. 5 o'clock in the morning.
That's right. Look at you.
Yeah.
So you're an early girl, huh? You
have
like that?
To. If it's not happening 5 o'clock in the morning in the gym,
a lot of people say that.
It won't happen at all.
Yeah.
Once the day gets started, and then by the end of the day,
yeah,
I'm ready to sweatpants, feet on the couch, done.
Yeah, yeah. And then you got to get sleep. Sleep is very important.
Sleep
too.
is critical to overall health.
Absolutely.
Good sleep sets you in motion for the rest of everything else.
People underestimate it. They underestimate it. I think I'm going to start sleeping at noon and just see how that works out.
Well, it might make the show more interesting. How long have you been the Queen of Elmcrest?
Executive director.
Executive director. I changed my notes here. Yeah.
So transitioned July 1st. Joe Gilia was there for over 33 years.
Oh, goodness.
And yeah, him and I had coffee a couple weeks ago. He's doing great. He's enjoying retired life with his grandkids and, traveling a little bit. But no, he was there for a long time. We had a great transition period. And July 1st, he had retired at the end of June. And July 1st, I transitioned in.
What'd you do before this?
I was at Arc of Onondaga.
Oh,
yeah. Another wonderful
great
agency doing great work. Absolutely.
How many years were you there?
5.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, 5.5 years.
Are you originally from Syracuse
I
at all?
am.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. The Green Hills donuts.
Oh,
fish.
Wait,
hang on. Let's get the bingo card.
Here we go.
So YouTube listeners can see there's a Tom bingo card I'm holding up.
Okay.
So Green Hills, let's check that. The Valley.
Yes.
Oh, got it.
But
Green
I didn't
Hills
say
right there.
anything yet.
I had to bring it
Tom
up.
bingo card,
Oh, there it is.
Did you grow up down there?
Yes.
I can't remember.
Yep. Off, Barnes Ave.
Oh, you're off Barnes. Okay.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Family's still
Go
there.
ahead. Here we go.
They're still there.
They're still there. My brother and my parents have houses on Barnes Ave. Oh yeah.
That is wonderful. Yeah, I was over on Edna. Do you even know where Edna Road is?
That's small.
Well, you know where Parish Lane
Yes.
is, just
Yes.
before Green Hills,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
the block goes around,
Yes.
and that becomes
Little
Edna
tiny,
Road.
yes.
So that's where I was.
Yes. Valley's a great place. Still a great place.
Did you go to Meacham School at all? or
No, I didn't. I actually went to transitioned over to Nottingham. So I was at Nottingham and Faith Heritage right there.
Gotcha.
But it's just right down.
Yeah, which is still
We've
the
lost
Valley.
this guy over here. He's done. He's done with us.
Steve, these are interesting things, you see? Because all the good people come from that area. I don't know where you came from.
Well, so in case anybody's still listening,
Yes.
tell us about Elmcrest. What do you do, and what do people think you do, and how are they confused?
Oh my goodness. So there's been so many conversations recently where people still remember us as more of an orphanage or residential type of program. We've expanded so much. We've been caring for kids here in Central New York for about 178 years. We're just under 180 years. So our roots are so deep, right? Started by by church women back in the day who wanted to take care of kids and meet their educational needs. We're still doing that, right? We still have a residential program. The kids live with us. They attend school. We've expanded. We have over 20 programs. We're in Syracuse. We're in Cortland, Mexico, Binghamton, providing community supports there. We just opened our mental health crisis respite programs back in March. We've seen between 170, 180 kids since end of March through our mental health crisis respite program. We have 2 6-bed programs where kids are able to come and spend a few weeks with us and just take that break. I went over and met with the doctors over at Galisano a few weeks ago, and the hospitals are overflowing with need. There's so many kids in crisis. Medical, mental health. We're trying to alleviate that. We work very closely with Galisano to alleviate some of those numbers in the hospital and bring the kids over to our crisis respite. Let them get some mental health therapy and treatment and stay with us a couple of weeks.
So it's a benevolent organization. It's not like a scene out of Oliver or something like that.
No, we serve over 2,800 kids on any given year.
Oh, goodness.
2,800 plus kids here in Central New York. And obviously, if you're working with kids, you're working with their families and having a bigger impact on the community at large. So it's a wonderful organization. We have over 500, almost 550 employees that are right here from Central New York. They're working, they have careers, and it's just we've been a staple here in Central New York for a very long time.
If I were to suggest that you step in and change the path maybe that the kids are on, that may not be a great one. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, absolutely. So one of the things that sometimes I talk to the kids one-on-one, or I'll go over to one of the cottages, or just those opportunities kind of just happen sometimes.
So you have that kind of a background as well. You're not just an executive.
No, my
director.
background's in social work. I used to have my license and practice and all that. And sometimes I talk with the kids and I'll say things to them. We'll have this kind of a conversation. Before you came to Elmcrest, a lot of people were writing your story for you.
Yeah.
Okay. While you're at Elmcrest, the pen is yours. You can write on the pages of this chapter while you're at Elmcrest. You can go to school. You can control how well you do in school. You can, if you're 14 or older, you can be a part of the job coaching opportunity that we offer, learn job skills, get a job and earn a paycheck. We partner with M&T Bank. They have their own bank accounts. Learn skills, social, emotional skill sets for how to be successful. It doesn't matter per se how they do at Elmcrest. What matters is once they leave Elmcrest or they kind of graduate or discharge from the program that they're in, that they're successful contributing members of society. Yeah. They can, for the first time, some of them in their life, dictate what's on the pages of their life in that chapter with us.
Elmcrest.org. Ruth Ann, Executive Director, not Queen, Executive Director of Elmcrest. Thank you for being you.
Yes, thank you.
You got it. All right. Coming up, we're going to talk with Brian Dumond. He's the president of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. You stick around for that right here on 570 WSYR and 106.9 FM.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Merry, happy, stupendous New Year. It's The Local Show with Tom and Steve. Made it through another year, 2024, just around the corner. And we're so happy that we could spend this time with you.
Tom, I was looking in the hard drive for the company. It looked like, from what I saw, you're trying to replace me with ChatGPT. Is that true?
No. Why would you say
how
that?
to replace Steve, what he should say. So I think maybe I can take more vacations in 2024.
Oh, yeah, right.
What do you think?
I don't know. I think ChatGPT could probably do a better job than you. Yeah. I'm not going to lie to you.
It certainly strings sentences together more appropriately.
It's good. It's helpful to write with that, and it was like for emails and for formal stuff.
Right.
Creative stuff, it's still not, I don't think it'll ever be.
I was horsing around with it and doing some things, and it will draw inappropriate conclusions.
Yes.
And it'll be like strong, like an exclamation point, like on things that doesn't matter. But it is interesting how quickly it pulls things together, right or wrong?
Yeah, right.
It's
for making
cool.
lists and things like that, or, looking for a recipe.
Right.
But you got to double check everything.
I should put in there, how do I please my wife, and make her happy?
How that one works.
See what it tells me. Here's a guy that knows how to do that.
Yeah, yes. It's Brian Dumond. He's the president of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. How are you, Brian?
I'm doing pretty well, but just don't talk to my wife.
Exactly. Aren't you a big? Is it you that was a Styx fan, or are you not a Styx fan?
I am a huge Styx fan.
They're coming to the Landmark Theater. We just talked with the guy.
I already got my tickets. I was out as soon as they went on sale. I got out my. Was it the City card or Capital One card? Right. One of them had early access, and boy, I was right in there, ready to go.
Point of no return. You got them now.
Oh, I do.
Mike Intaglietto was just here, and he said Styx, and I was like, I got to talk to Brian about that.
He runs the Landmark. So
yes, I'm definitely all in on.
Got good seats?
Styx.
You all set?
Oh, yeah, very good seats.
Okay.
My wife suffers though because she goes with me to all these shows, and I think she's seen Styx every year for probably the last 6 years. And
well, among some of the places that you've gone to see them, don't you think the sound here is going to be really good?
Landmark?
The Landmark has, I think it's going to be a really cool
very
venue.
intimate.
Yeah.
It's kind of an intimate setting for you.
Did you buy a lighter to bring it so you could hold it up?
You got to use your phone now. There you go.
Things change.
Oh, goodness. Anyway, other than a concert, but, and this goes to the culture that Geddes Federal has, because you're kind of a down-to-earth guy. You're not this hoity-toity, sit in your office and not pay attention to the people, the little people.
So he's not like Mr. Potter at, the Savings and Loan sits back there.
Or Mr. Mooney.
Mr. Mooney.
I loved Mr. Mooney, though. I have to say that. Mr. Potter, not so much.
No,
but my favorite of all was Mr. Drysdale.
Oh, Mr. Drysdale.
That's
over
right.
For the Beverly Hillbillies,
yes,
right?
You got that right. So, no, I at Geddes Federal, everybody's important. And I look forward to talking to our customers, making myself available.
Sure.
I give out my direct line. It's on my business card, so people can bypass the receptionist and get directly to me, or if they want to call in and talk to somebody, they can do that too.
And we're actually going to give your wife's cell phone here if they don't listen to you then. We'll call her.
Then I'm in lots of trouble.
Got it right here.
Yes.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's something. So what's new for 2024? What should we be telling people? I know that you're not a prognosticator or, a financial planner, but as far as what the bank has to offer, what do you talk about at this time of year?
Okay, so I'm going to talk about conventional wisdom, all right? And what that means is this is what our customers are thinking, all right?
Yes.
On the savings side, our customers that are coming in are trying to lock down CDs as long as they can at the highest rate that they can, because our customers feel like these rates are going to go down on the CD side.
Yes.
Do you agree with your customers, or can't you say because terms and conditions apply?
Well, everything that I've read, everything that I've seen has told me that that's going to happen. However, it could change. I would never would have guessed that rates would have gone up as high as they did.
Yeah. Right.
So I don't progress. What's the word you use? I can't even
prognosticate.
Thank you. I mean, once you get past 2 syllables with me, you're really stretching it.
That reminds me of my colonoscopy, Tom. Probably not.
No, it's not that.
Not saying whatever.
But I don't know how we got
I don't know
there, but, and I really don't want
It's
to.
just Steve. Don't bother. Don't worry about it.
But my guess would be that they would continue down a little bit and then level off.
Okay.
We're seeing that on the mortgage side already.
Okay.
And mortgages are down. They were close to 8% at one point,
nice.
And now they're in the 6s. So that's a great thing.
That's
if
a big
you're
deal.
looking for a home.
To offset the enormous prices of the houses these days.
Right. So things are coming around for the customers and the consumers out there, and it's just a matter of time. But on the savings side, lock in whatever you can.
Right.
On the mortgage side, take another look. Might be your time.
Right. Well, that's good.
So maybe if you have some cash sitting there doing nothing in a nothing account somewhere, I know you've mentioned before, terms and conditions kind of don't apply. Here's our rate. You don't have to sign your children or you don't have to switch all your bank accounts. If we give a rate, you give a rate on the CDs. Is that fair?
It is. So a lot of financial institutions will say, okay, we will give you 5.5%, but you have to bring your checking account over. Mm-hmm. Or has to be new money to the bank. So even if you're a customer with us and have money with us, this rate is no good unless you bring it from another bank.
Oh, God.
So the rate is the rate.
Yeah. That's
okay.
Good.
And are people still buying houses?
Honestly, right now, no.
Okay.
There isn't a lot of activity, especially this time of year. But what they are doing is they're looking at the home equities and home equity lines of credit. That activity is surprisingly strong.
And, we were talking offline here that you have a couple of different options, not just a variable. And a lot of people just have variable home equities. I know that the particular one that I have is tied to prime. And, it shot right up there. It's a lot more than we had anticipated.
Right.
But people can lock in over Geddes.
We have fixed and we have the variable rate. So,
you got both.
Give our mortgage department a call and talk to them about what might apply to them, what would work, because they're going to give you the straight, and they'll sit down with you and they'll say, okay, what do you got? Here's what we have.
Is it true that if someone gets their mortgage at Geddes, that they get to ride into toboggan down Westcott Reservoir with the president of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan? Is that true?
No,
I would love it if it was true, but no, that's not true.
I guess my notes are incorrect here.
Yes. But that would be something.
Right across.
I haven't done that since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Wow.
Any big plans for New Year's Eve then?
We are going out to one of our favorite restaurants, the In Between.
Yes. Beautiful.
But we are going as old people.
So
they're going at 4 o'clock?
4:45.
Yeah.
But we called to get reservations, and because I'm a procrastinator, not a whatever you said,
prognosticator.
Not a prognosticator.
Yes.
Yeah, I got it out. But so that's what
Good.
we're doing.
Awesome. We had Chris, the chef, there on a few weeks ago. Lovely place, lovely people.
Excellent.
Great time.
All right. Happy New Year to you, buddy.
Happy New Year to you guys.
All right. Lynn High's coming up next, Chief Development Officer at the Food Bank of Central New York. Stick around right here here on 570 WSYR and 106.9 FM.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
You found The Local Show, and we're glad to have you along for this ride right through into the new year. That'll make it year number 5 for us. Would this be The Local Show on the air for 5 years?
Been on for 4.
Yeah, it's got to be maybe 4 years.
COVID just.
I've been here for 5 years.
Yeah, COVID just kind of like it.
Yeah, it made
had
it
the
all
gap,
kind of weird. Yeah,
and
sure.
But you survived.
Yeah,
so there.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, your mother made it through the COVID, huh?
Yep, she did.
Another time. My father made it through again at 82.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's like
fun
stuff.
It's a good time had by all.
Yeah, but the good news is that the flus are up. So the flu count is up, so you still might have a good chance of getting the flu.
I did hear that.
Yeah, good.
I did.
Right.
But now that you're wasting away to nothing, Tom, you probably won't get anything, right?
I shouldn't. Yeah, that's right. I'm not going to get it just to spite it, just to prove them wrong.
There we go.
Lynn High is here with us right now. She's the Chief Development Officer at the Food Bank of Central New York, and it's always a pleasure to speak with her because you speak better than Steve, so that's good.
Are you sure about that? I mean, he's a professional talker.
I don't know. He's Goofy Steve.
Goofy Steve.
Yes. For those watching on YouTube, there's a Tom bingo card I'm holding up here with all the statements that Tom says over and over again. And Goofy Steve is on the list. Sometime we'll unpack that whole list.
We only have 2 so far on the list. Well, I mean, there's more since I sat down, but 2 since we went on there.
In the earlier sets, he did mention the Valley. You know,
No, I'm playing just for Lynn time here.
The guest was from the Valley. What am I going to say, right?
Well, there you go. Now we got 3.
Tom didn't say the last bastion of local talk radio yet.
No, I didn't do that one yet. All right. So, Lynn, tell people what the Food Bank of Central New York does for people. It seems obvious, but what are the nuances?
It's not, though, because a lot of people just think we're a big food pantry.
Yeah, right.
We're the distribution center behind the scenes. We currently are 74,000 square feet. We're working on becoming a 108,000 square foot facility where we house food, whether it's perishable or non-perishable, and then get it out to more than 400 programs. So those are food pantry, soup kitchens, emergency shelters in 11 counties, so that people who are experiencing hunger do not have to leave the area where they live and work.
That's wonderful, isn't it?
So you're not a food pantry, but you support the food pantries. Is that fair?
That's fair. That's very fair. That's the simplest way to put it.
I'm a simple guy.
Yeah, I know.
He's good at being simple. There's no doubt about that. So, yeah, you do that all year long. This isn't just like during the holidays, of course.
Correct. We've been around since 1985 and continue to grow. I mentioned you guys before we got here. Unfortunately, the need for food, emergency food in the community is back to pandemic levels.
Right.
In October, we distributed more than 2.1 million pounds of food in the 11 county network, and we had not been at 2 million since October of 2020.
Why?
Well, earlier this year, the last pandemic era benefit that people were receiving, which was an increase in SNAP benefits, went away.
Well, wait, unpack what SNAP is.
SNAP, sorry, people formerly known as food stamps.
Gotcha.
So it's called Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, formerly known as food stamps.
Okay.
So SNAP benefits. So that increased benefit went away for all individuals and families. Some people actually found themselves getting no SNAP help at all. And then we know what's going on in the community. When we all see it when we go to the grocery stores with the way increased prices of food continuing to rise. I swear every week when I go to the grocery store.
Nuts.
But then, there's the housing crisis. That is so beyond anybody's comprehension of how many families are facing homelessness, can't find affordable housing right now. And all these things are impacting families. We had families that were struggling before COVID. We had families that fell on hard times during COVID, and many of those families haven't been able to pull themselves back up. They just haven't found full employment, back to the level of employment they were back, and then just with the increase of prices. So need is out there. It continues to grow. November, if we look at our fiscal year, so July 1 through November 30, and we compare 22 to 23, more than 20% increase in food has gone out in 23 in those 5 months.
Goodness.
Unfortunately, the need is there. We don't foresee it going down anytime soon.
When you ask for support, are you looking for people to drop food off? Are you looking for people to donate financially? Because the whole church soup kitchen, food kitchen, pantry, it's kind of a mangled mess, and there may be some confusion about how the way you distribute. So how can people support you is the question.
So supporting Food Bank of Central New York, the easiest way, go on our website, foodbankcny.org, make an online cash donation. Right now, some people, they don't want to give cash. They actually want to buy, I always say, the can of peas and visualize the person eating the can of peas. That's fine. You can bring it to Food Bank of Central New York, or if you're not near us, if you call, we can connect you with the pantry that's in your community that the food bank works with, and you can drop the food off there. I did it just recently. A woman called me. She had food. She lived in Bridgeport. She didn't want to drive to where we are out in the town of Van Buren. I connected her with a food pantry coordinator, and she did the drop off.
So can I make a suggestion?
Of course.
Business owners, people that are going to be facing taxes, now is the time of year, the last week here, they can make a donation, and that donation, you're a 501c3.
We are.
Is 100% tax deductible. Mm-hmm. So if you do it right now, or you do it next week, not so much. Do it today, right up into the first, or tomorrow. Do it right on your credit card.
On the credit card up until 11:59 on 12/31.
Yeah. So that's a good thing, and it's a great cause, and it's local, and it's here. And if you want to feed people, here's a way to do it. So I throw it for not only business owners, but people listening. It's a real, legitimate, local help people. And maybe that's easier than going and buying the can of peas, Tom, and dropping it off.
Well, and when you give to the food bank, because we can buy truckloads of food, you're going to get a better bang for your buck, because with every dollar that comes in, we can provide enough food for 3 meals. Think about what you can buy for $1 at the grocery store.
Yeah, not a lot of anything.
Very much.
And when we say a meal, the meal is a component, has all the components. It has fruits and vegetables, it has protein, and it has grains.
Yeah.
I want gluten. Sorry.
Everybody wants gluten, including my brother who has celiac disease.
I want gluten and MSG. It'll taste really good. But no, that's healthy. That's good.
You mentioned SNAP. What are the EBT cards?
So that's SNAP.
That is SNAP.
Yeah, it's electronic benefits transfer.
Okay.
It's your SNAP card that people have. So it looks like a little credit card when you go to the store. I mean, I know years and years ago, they were actually stamps. And
that was kind of uncomfortable for people. Yeah.
It's very uncomfortable. And this really brings a dignity back into the equation, because no one has to know that you're using SNAP benefits. And it offers that choice too, because not everybody has the same situation in their home. They may not have a small, they might have a small refrigerator. They might not have a freezer. They might only be cooking with a microwave. So their food choices are going to be different. So this gives them the ability to make those food choices. And then the other thing, just quickly, is the economic impact that SNAP has, because those dollars are government dollars coming back to our community, being spent at local grocery stores that are hiring local workforces and have local distributors and manufacturers that are getting the food to the store.
Buy local, eat local. Share
Exactly.
Local. That's awesome.
An economic circle. There you go.
So Food Bank, foodbankcny.org. It's not too late to give for this year.
No, not at all. And their time is up. How is it up already?
I know. Well, you have a happy new year, and thank you for all you do through the whole year, okay? All right. Steve, that's going to wrap up the local show. I will see you at the new year and all that stuff. Don't let any balls drop on your head.
I will. You know what? It's always possible. Happy New Year, Tommy.
All right. Happy New Year. Well, on behalf of the local show, Zoey Advertising and Tom and Steve, God bless you and your families. Hey, take a walk today and every day. Get the new year off to a great start. Go walking with a friend or a family member. It keeps the weight down and the mind clear. The local show is heard every Saturday morning from 11 to 1 and then again on Sunday morning from 7 to 9. Listen together with a friend. Until next week, get down to business. Keep doing business locally. Tell your friends about the local show right here on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube at Zoey Advertising.